A few moments later.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Church right here on Barracks Party Media. I'm your host, John Kermit, a.k.a. Friar or Mini. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was my MOS. I'm a card carrier member of the E4 Mafia and the founding member of Barracks Party Media. All right, a lot to unpack, a short time to do so. And we are minus today, unfortunately, Brother Bishop Poop Dog, who forgot to put a bet in for me. And had to do it at the very last minute yesterday at the Derby, but he got it in and it didn't come in anyways. Our horse did not come in. It came in fourth, 20 to win. It was what it was. But yeah, let's get the rest of the crew on and get this going. I got a lot of auto racing to talk about too. And I know Pterodactyl's got a bunch of awesome stuff to put out into the interwebs. So without further ado, he's also a United States Marine Corps veteran. His MOS was comms, and he's also from the great state of Wisconsin. And as I click the button to introduce him, which I'm about to do in a second, make sure your volume is turned down just briefly, or if you were listening with headphones or earbuds, make sure you take them out briefly. Without further ado, my fellow cheesehead, the one and only Pterodactyl. I can see him warming up. Shit.
How's it going?
What's up, man? What's new? What's happening?
Well, I temporarily still have my beard at least, but it's in danger zone. mode now. The Predators were already eliminated, and Milwaukee Admirals are one game away from being eliminated. So I'm in the danger zone right now.
Oh, you're gonna shave it again, dude?
Every year, unless one of my teams win either the Stanley Cup or the Calder Cup, and still, that still hasn't ever come home for me in my adult life. Like a little over 20 years ago, the Admirals won the Calder Cup, but I wasn't, I was still pretty young at that point. So,
right.
That was like high school still. So,
yeah,
I think,
gotcha.
yeah, I mean, that was Pekka Rinne. He's retired, was on that team. Patrick Hornquist, Shea Weber, a whole bunch of guys that have pretty much gone through their whole careers already.
Nice. All right, our next co-host, we call him Pops. This show we call him Reverend Pops because he's my pops. He's my father. He's been in auto racing business for over 50 years, either working on cars, covering, shooting film, working for ESPN, announcing in local tracks, you name it. He has done it. So we know of no other person better to speak on this subject that we love as much as auto racing as him. So without further ado, Reverend Pops is up.
Good evening, everybody. We've got breaking news.
No, yeah.
Breaking news. Lando Norris won his first Grand Prix.
Okay.
They had a race at Miami today, and Max Verstappen didn't find the top of the podium. He finished second.
Emotional damage.
It was typical F1. He got beat on pit stop. So, but anyway, the fact that Max Brown got his team a win and Lando Norris is the one that did it is pretty awesome.
Cool.
So we got other stuff we can talk about, but we'll go on to get the show rolling and we'll go from there.
Well, I mean, who wants to go first, Pops? I mean, you said you had quite a...
Well, yeah, I do have a kind of crazy thing. Unbeknownst to me, last week, IndyCar made an announcement that Joseph Newgarden and his cohort in Bus Brothers, McLaughlin, were both disqualified from the first race of the season this year, the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, because they had utilized some software that wasn't supposed to be on the car.
Oops.
And they not only used it, but IndyCar was able to go back and re-show it at the records that they were able to use push to pass when they're not supposed to be able to use push to pass. So they had access to some software that they were not supposed to have access to.
Naughty.
They disqualified them both, took away their points for the race, and fined them $25,000 plus the winner's share of their money, which was I think $25,000 and $10,000. I think anyway. It was a substantial penalty, but the unique part about this is Team Penske is owned by Roger Penske.
Okay.
And Roger Penske owns IndyCar as well as the Indianapolis 500. So, in addition to being disqualified and having their points taken away, they got dropped way down in the standings. Matter of fact, the Joseph Newgarden was in first place in the standings. He dropped all the way back to 12th place. So that was a crazy jump. Well, it's unprecedented. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Now the unique bit is that Mr. Power, who is also on the Penske team, was found not to have used the software, but was aware it was there and should have said something. And so they fined him his point money. So even though he didn't use it, he did get fined. I think dropped 10 points and 25 grand. So
Ouch.
it's well. Here's the problem. How do you penalize the boss?
Right.
I mean, you got to tell your boss your boys cheated, and we're going to penalize you. Matter of fact, we're taking your win away. And now I have not seen a public statement from Roger Penske other than saying I'm extremely embarrassed. He had a meeting of owners at his office in Los Angeles Grand Prix, which went on 2 weeks ago. And he had a meeting with the owners, but not much has been said by the owners. So somehow he got them to clam up, except for Michael Andretti, who has been rather vocal. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Nah.
He said, look, their stories don't match up.
Mm-hmm.
You got Joseph Newgarden. You got the boss of Penske Racing, Tim Cindric, and you got McLaughlin, and their stories don't match up. And so he's not only were they dumb, but they sure are stupid about how they're explaining what the heck happened. Now, so you understand, they did not create this software. This software was created by IndyCar to be used at their exhibition race out west. They had that $1 million challenge out west. And so they created the software to allow push to pass, which is basically giving them 50 extra horsepower.
Right.
Push to pass. However, in IndyCar, they're not supposed to use that coming off of at a green flag on a start of the race or restart. They have to go all the way around to the artificial starting line. Don't ask me why. That's the rules, and they've had these rules for years. And both Newgarden and his buddy Mr. McLaughlin both used the push to pass on at least 2 restarts. And Newgarden, it was obvious that Newgarden had done it. I couldn't figure out how the hell he got so far in front on a restart. He was the first car in line, and I mean he damn near did a whole straightaway on the restart, getting in front of the guy that's in second place. So, I mean, it's obvious it's a big deal. Now, it's weird in that everyone else had the same software, but removed it before the race. And so it's kind of hard to explain how the IndyCar owner, his team didn't remove the software, and they went ahead and used it. Now, here's the freaky deal: the 2 guys that are run the Bus Brothers, they have their own podcast called the Bus Bros, because they park next to each other in the paddock with their vans, and so it's the Bus Bros. So anyway, those are the 2 guys that got penalized. Those are the 2 guys that used the software illegally. But Joseph Newgarden said, I thought they changed the rule because, they changed it for the exhibition race. I just thought they changed it forever. No big deal. And to prove his point, at the next race, he was complaining to his team because the push to pass wasn't working right. Well, that was after they took the software away from him. So it's possible that Newgarden was telling the truth. He thought the rules had changed, and that no big deal. And his actions kind of say the same thing. But it's still weird. It's still the boss of IndyCar that got penalized. And Roger Penske, he takes every advantage he can. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's how you win. He's got more wins at Indianapolis than anybody any team has. But you don't break the rule to do it. Now, the weird part of this, is it unprecedented that the owner of the league gets penalized? It's not unprecedented because if you go way back in IndyCar to a time when I think it's the third year of Carpenter Racing, they hired Larry Curry as their head of as the head of the team. I guess that's the best way to say it. He basically managed the team, and the Carpenter team, Ed Carpenter Racing, had AJ Foyt the fourth, we called Quattro, and Ed Carpenter as teammates, and this was strictly a favor to AJ Foyt because he didn't feel it would be proper for him to I don't know, to race his son, I guess, or his grandson. I guess that's the best way to explain it. So anyway, however, Ed Carpenter was basically just an also-ran driver. He was no, world beater. However, when they got to the racetrack in Florida for the Miami Grand Prix, it wasn't a Grand Prix; it was an oval race.
Okay.
And they qualified first and fourth. And following inspection, they found out that there was some monkey business going on with the rear wings. And they disqualified Ed and AJ Foyt the fourth. And at that time, Ed Carpenter's father, oh God, now I can't remember his name. This is terrible. Who also had controlling interest in the Indianapolis 500, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and IndyCar, had to put up with his son and his other player being disqualified, and the team, before the race happened, had fired Larry Curry. So the precedent is, well, who from Penske is getting fired because of this? Now, the freaky part is that Ed Carpenter was really doing a great job and ended up starting at the back of the field and damn near won the race because for one reason or another, his car was that good. But they did take the rear wings away from him. So they didn't have any. And Ed was extremely ticked off because he said, I didn't need any help. We're that good here. However, they did change the things. God, that's terrible. I can't remember his name. Tony George. There we go. Tony George was the president of IndyCar, basically owned IndyCar, but the IndyCar operation was owned by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, basically what it came down to. And it was weird that they did the right thing. The question is, who from Penske, Team Penske, is being fired? I mean, it could be Roger Penske gets fired. I don't know, but somebody's got to fire somebody in order to make it right. Tim Cindric has been with Penske for 30 years, I guess, as the team owner and team president now. And he controls IndyCar, NASCAR, and the road racing series. And I guess they're having trouble trying to figure out who the bad person is, because the engineers probably knew. You would think that Tim Cindric would know. It's possible it's possible that Roger Penske didn't know, but it's hard to believe that a guy who controls everything, and Roger Penske is famous for controlling everything, that he didn't know. So it's a, how do I say it? Well, the best way to look at it is that McLaughlin won the very next race. So
Gotcha.
and Will Power finished second. So they did well. It's just that I don't know. They had an ugly deal. And I don't know how Roger's taking it, because he does not take things. God, the guy's a billionaire. He's a billionaire with just his auto dealerships, and there's other things like Penske Automotive, and there's Penske Trucking, and there's so anyway. It's an interesting deal, to say the least, and I'm sure he's going to come out and say, guys, we're not going to talk about this, but this thing called Indianapolis is coming up on the 10th of this month for the road racing division. And then they go from there all the way to the 26th of the month when they're all at Indianapolis. So it's going to be very interesting to see what all comes out of that. And if, in fact, somebody's going to get fired. I really think that the guy that's on the hot seat is Tim Cindric. Well, I mean, he manages the team. And if he didn't know it, that's kind of it says that he's got a very bad manager if he didn't know. Somebody had to tell him, and hey, look, we got this advantage and we're going to use it. And Roger's always been, look, if somebody's doing something wrong, tell me and we'll get it straightened out. And that didn't happen, and it should go all the way up to Roger. But apparently, if it didn't go all the way up to Roger, then whoever it stopped with has got to pay the price. I don't know. The problem it's bigger than those two race cars. People knew what was going on and should have said something, and they didn't. And it's hard to believe that the number one team in IndyCar racing is capable of doing something this stupid. But it's all about competition, and you do what you got to make it, make it move ahead. So wait and see what happens. Are we going to have 3 cars from Penske and the whole front row of Indianapolis this year? I doubt it. Michael Andretti's team has got at least 2 guys that can go on the front row. So Indianapolis is going to be interesting this year, but it's going to be under a cloud because everyone wants to know what the hell Penske knew and when he knew it.
Right.
And, that's going to until somebody gets fired, that's going to be the question that's going to be asked. Every time these guys get in front of the microphone, which is generally on a daily basis, because Penske's drivers are generally in the top 2 or 3 every practice session. So they're going to get in front of the microphone every day. And you got all these guys, there's probably 50 guys that they're going to sit in front of, and somebody's going to ask them the question. And sooner or later, they're going to have to answer it. I don't know. Indianapolis is going to be interesting this year. Let's put it that way. Possibility of upwards of 37 cars trying for the 33 spots. So it's going to be an interesting year, to say the least. That's the best way to explain it.
Penske might not like it, but a little bit of controversy going into a major event like that isn't exactly a bad thing. You'll get more people interested in it, so they can drive some more eyeballs to the event.
Well, that's true too. It's funny because back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm talking about the late 60s, early 70s, and 80s. Indianapolis was a thing. the whole city turned a page and opened up the newest page of the Indianapolis 500. And you would have 100,000 people in the stands during practice. And they would have close to sellout on qualification day. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. The city of Speedway is basically turned over to Indianapolis Motor Speedway to do whatever they have to do because they got so many people coming in. It was a wild and woolly bit. Now it's not so much because they basically just cram the place full during the race. Qualifications, not so much. I would think they got over 100,000 people for qualifications, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. They used this is how crazy it is. They would rent buses from the Indianapolis bus company and shuttle them all over the state of Indiana. Go to bars where the bars would have sold tickets, and they would all get on the bus. And I don't know how this worked out, but I think Indianapolis Motor Speedway paid for all the buses because you didn't have to pay extra to get to qualifying or to the race because you just paid your regular seat ticket price. So, I mean, if you had a $25 ticket, you could come from Chicago to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the race, riding on a bus. Wow, those were the crazy days. Now, to get things straightened out, the state of Indiana passed a law saying that there has to be competitive bidding for the buses, and Indianapolis Transit Company was not allowed to bid. That's a state law. They keep that. So they decided they're going to eliminate the financial shenanigans of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But I mean, it was at least 400, maybe 500,000 people that would attend that race.
Yeah,
it was the largest sporting event in the world, and they and that's it. I think race tickets used to be $25 for the infield. That's not with a seat. That's just you're allowed into the race.
Right.
So it's boy, we got you to the race one year, didn't we, John?
A couple times, yeah. I've been there, and I've been to the Brickyard. I've only been to the Brickyard once, which I took a girlfriend of mine at the time, and she was not thrilled to go. But I didn't tell her one of her favorite country singers was playing a concert there. So we show up, and I didn't also tell her we could bring in all our drinks. So I load up a cooler. We go in there. Pops drives us through. I'm like, all right, let's go to the concert. She's like, what concert? I'm like, blah, 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 blah. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, grab the cooler. She's cooler. I'm like, yeah, I got a booze and beer and sandwiches in there. And she's like, what the shit? And then she's like, oh, this is awesome. And then we go to sit. We had seats at the inside of turn one, which is fucking where you want to be, kind of. Yeah. And in a big screen kind of behind us so that we could watch the race as it, right. The whole as race
televised,
And it's still one of my favorite indie stories, and it's so indie. Her thing was she got out of it. The race was okay. The concert was great. Being able to drink inside and everything, that was cool. But we're sitting in the stands, and here comes this woman who's like, oh, easy 7-8 months pregnant, right? Easy. Carrying a fucking cooler that looks by all appearance is probably loaded to the gills of Coors Light and ice. And there's her husband walking fucking right behind her, double fisting two tall boys. And I'm like, God this is almost snake pit. She's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, let me tell you about the snake pit. And I said, that's a 500 thing if you want to go next year. It's not for the meek. There's some
for the
legendary
faint of
shit. Yeah,
It got so bad in the snake pit that one year cops were not allowed into the snake pit unless they were on a horse.
Yeah.
The snake pit critters pretty well took over the place, and whatever they wanted to do, they did. And oh, it was crazy. It was not the origin of Show Us Your Tits, but it sure had an awful lot of Show Us Your Tits going on. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
Yes, they did.
I mean, even to the point where we had rainstorms that would just drench the whole facility, but they were already in the facility. So it's no big deal. They just continued partying. They just took off their clothes because there's no sense wearing wet clothes. and it was, oh God, it was something else.
Yes, it was.
And that probably started in the mid to late 60s. And it got to a point where you didn't want to be anywhere near the snake pit because it was crazy. You just didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
But somehow you could get in there and find a way out again. I guess that's better to explain it. I don't think I had anybody that lived in the snake pit. I mean, I was all the years that I worked for the media center or for the racetrack itself. Well, Brent Ruhlman, remember Brent?
Yeah.
John? All right. Well, anyway, he was my +1 when I was working for the Speedway as a yellow shirt, and I think he went down to turn 3. If you're an employee of the Speedway, you got to take in a guest, and so Brent was my +1 for that year. I didn't get +1s when I was on the media, so I guess that was the first one. And Brent survived. The funny thing is, he and I stayed up and worked with the Gurney crew, the All-American Racers, had a booth just outside the front entrance. And we stayed up all night working with them. And so after the race, we were both ready to crash. We were supposed to drive back because Mom and Dad were having a party. And we left the racetrack, went straight back to the house that I lived at in Indianapolis when I was going to school there, and just crashed for about 8 hours and got up and drove the rest of the way home. But it's just it was just an event, and it had to be part of it. Let's see, what else is there to say?
James says hi.
Went off well last night, unfortunately.
James says hi.
Our guy got crashed out on the. He started on the outside of the front row, and he ended up getting pushed up into the wall on the first lap, and busted his suspension, and so he didn't do well in the race. Matter of fact, he finished 33rd, which was last place, and he didn't even complete a lap. So. Our Wisconsin boys didn't do real well for the race last night.
Yeah. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
So be it, huh?
Yeah. Say love you.
Where is the Indies? Well, this the fact that Lando Norris won the race today, the Formula One race today, is awesome. Zach Brown, who is a advertising executive extraordinaire, was hired by McLaren to bring the team back up into winning fashion. And this is the ultimate of things that could happen for him, because his team was somewhere between 3rd and 10th place. I guess that's what to say. You just never knew what was going on. But this year, the team has picked up a bit and had some impressive races. Lando Norris has finished second a couple of times this year, so it's not an unbelievable big deal that Zach was able to do this. But Zach is, I don't know, he used to do big deals for big companies and handling their advertising, their media relations, and he owns, I don't know, probably between 25 and 50 championship race cars. I mean, F1 cars and all. And he drives them. He furnishes it to his drivers. Matter of fact, Lando Norris was given the opportunity to drive a 2-year-old Ferrari that Zach Brown owned at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, I mean, he was able to get some speed out of that thing. And so Zach is, he's one of those unique individuals that is capable of making things happen, and particularly with McLaren. And I'm not sure if let me see what the exact title is. Zach Brown, Chief Executive Officer, so of McLaren. So he is he's up there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
For an Indianapolis boy, Zach's doing okay because McLaren is making money, which is something they were not able to say for several years. But the McLaren road car is actually making money. This probably the last 3 or 4 years. So Zach has had a positive. Well, I shouldn't say that. Zach sold off some of their business and used that money to prop up the IndyCar business. I guess that's the best way to say it. Let's see what else we got. Holy cow, we've been yakking a lot.
You said you had a lot, so
well, yeah, but not 48 minutes worth. I just saw. Anyway,
well, technically 38, but
okay.
Yeah.
I think the crazy thing is the fact that Penske guys got penalized. But the worst part about that whole deal is that it's not a dead story. It's still got some things to run through, and so we have to wait and see what it does there. The other news is my hyperdrive isn't working. I don't know why. My hyperdrive, which is a device that I plug in to my PC, to give me 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it gives me 3 extra USB ports. For some reason, I can't use my heavy duty microphone. I'm just using the regular PC microphone. Because I believe it or not, just to crack you up, I only have 2 USB ports on my laptop, which makes it really hard to plug in a whole bunch of devices, such as my camera and the microphone, this gem. So I don't know whether I just got to get it reprogrammed or something, but it's kind of weird.
Have fun with that. I can't help you.
You had problems too?
No, well, I just can't help you with that kind of shit. I have zero. I have really bad tech abilities. I don't know what it is, but by the way, I haven't done this on Sports Church in a while. It's just might as well. This Rick roll.
This is for you.
You even got any NASCAR yet? Have you? I mean, there's a race over yet? It should be over, right?
No, they were still running when I came in here. So
oh shit, I thought they were done by now.
they should be done, but let's see what. Let me see what they're doing.
You can do it!
Guys.
T, what do you got? While Pops is looking at that, what do you got? Just a brief snippet of what do you got for us today?
Okay, yeah, actually, I was just like, oh, I should probably check if that Carolina Rangers game is done yet. So yeah, in hockey right now, you actually had the first of the second round games.
Well, don't go all in because I just want to know what you're gonna run to us. That's all I'm asking.
Oh yeah, we got
a little bit of hockey
going on.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't catch. I know UFC 301 was going on. I'm trying to see what I can work out as far as MMA.
Wasn't that Friday or was that one?
That was one on Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
That was free to watch on Prime. I got the Prime.
I didn't know that. I would have watched it.
Yeah, one is nice because pretty much all their stuff. If you got Prime and YouTube, you can pretty much watch all their stuff.
Nice.
Every Friday they do Friday night fights, which they run that out of Thailand. So actually it's during the day on Friday. So I usually don't get to catch it live, but you just look it up on YouTube when you get home and you can watch. And there's usually about 4 hours worth of fights to watch when I get home. So, and I like watching it because they do, they don't just do MMA, they do Muay Thai and they do submission grappling in that league too. So there's different the different fights that come out are going by different rules. They'll tell you beforehand, this is a Muay Thai fight, this is a kickboxing fight, this is MMA. But yeah, I like watching it. But then the whole thing with the one thing though on Friday for the main event, they were supposed to have atomweight women's kick or Muay Thai championship, but the champion didn't make weight. So she got stripped of her belt right before the fight. Now, if the Russian woman,
if you can't make weight, they take away the belt.
And one they do.
Wow.
And one they do. But then they said if this what was her name, Natalia, it was some Russian name. If she would have beaten Smila Sundell, who was the champion, she still would have gotten the belt. But yeah, they took the belt from Smila before the fight. And Smila ended up knocking her out in the second round. So now they don't have
belt back for then.
No, they don't have a champion right now. So I don't know how they're gonna go about that. Smila Sundell is she's very young. She's only 19 years old, so it's possible she's still growing. I guess it's kind of late, like still growing, but. Who knows?
That's
maybe
my
she's
problem. I'm still growing.
She might be moving up a weight class here. Who knows? Or is she going to try to cut back down? We'll see. But yeah, I don't know if Pops found what he was looking for yet.
Yeah, Pops, did you find what you were looking for? Or are you just going to be all
it's
right?
Only on lap 44.
What?
It got
start like 3 hours.
Delayed.
Oh, rubbish.
So they started it about maybe an hour ago. But the thing is that Kansas has got lights, so they'll be able to race the whole deal. So
cool.
And par for the course, guess who's leading?
Kyle Larson.
No, really? Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I totally guessed. I didn't look it up. I swear to God.
They're moving out. They're up to lap 51 of 267 laps.
Wow.
That's a good racetrack for racing. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack.
Where are they at again? I'm sorry.
Banking, so
where are they at again?
It'll be a good race.
Where are they at?
Kansas.
Okay, yeah. All right.
That's so weird. They built that complex at Kansas, put in a casino before they put the racetrack in, and then put in a whole bunch of hotels. So I mean, that was just farmland. It was nothing, no big deal. But it's maybe 20 minutes from downtown Kansas City. But it turned into a busy area because at least for the race weeks, they do go crazy out there.
I'll be out there in about a month.
You're going to
month
see
and
ball
3
games,
weeks. Yeah, I'll be out in Kansas City, St. Louis. So, going to the enemy's den and
stop in the casino.
No, well, I'm going with my father-in-law who likes to gamble, so that might be a problem.
Oh, there you go.
That might happen. Our main goal is just to get barbecue. That's our main thing, and stay at a hotel or a hotel near a bar.
Yeah.
For me. So, and my wife might fucking.
Well,
she might shoot me with an attack of rocket.
Kansas, if you're in Kansas City, Kansas, you got to be real careful of the restaurants you go to because there's a lot of dry counties out that way.
That's a fucking problem.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. You got to make sure that the restaurants you go to have liquor. Otherwise, you got to bring your own booze and then get the mixers from them.
Wow.
And they charge for those mixers. So
yeah, sure, of course they do. Probably
bastards.
Insane. Yeah, bastards.
I will say a good one from there. I did a seminar just outside of Kansas City, and it was a recovering dry county, and that you could order drinks in the restaurant, but they couldn't put the drinks on your credit card. And I got
so it's like every time every time the Marine Corps sent me somewhere, I had to talk to the bartender and to using my when I was using my red Marine Corps government credit card. I'm like, yeah, you need to put this shit under other.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Or additional charges or something because I can't put booze on my government credit card. They're like, oh, we'll figure it out. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, that's what caused the problem because like I said, had a party of about 18, and we all had at least one drink before dinner, and probably 3 or 4 after dinner, and that's when I found out you couldn't put booze on your credit card, and so I said, no problem, Mr.
Here's my watch,
Mr. Waiter. We have a discussion here. And
I have a Casio.
I have a deal where I'm going to include the drinks and add it to what you would get for a tip. Now, when you get the tip money, you're going to have to pay back for all the drinks we had.
Wow.
And it worked. However, when I turned in the expense account and that the tip was bigger than the bill for the food.
Must have been an error.
I had to do some quick explaining. And this is probably 3 months later.
Other people call that lying, but
and I'm there. I don't know why it looks that way, but it had to be for some reason. Well, what it was is that
the Philly fanatic does not approve.
All the Women's International Bowling Congress, which was our partner at the time of ABC, would go over the bills for the quarter. And then when things don't make sense, they ask you to come in and explain things. Sure. I couldn't explain that. I didn't know I couldn't remember what the hell it was all about. But that was sitting in front of Roger Tessman and Bert Kellerman. Anyway, sitting in front of the 3 executives of American Bowling Congress and the 3 executives from Women's International Bowling Congress. I don't know. That's embarrassing. But
that's a madman shit right there. All right. You ready, T? So I can take my smoke break and then jump back into.
Yeah, sure. So
right,
I guess
right
we'll start off. Yeah, Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now. So we still got one more series left here in the first round, which Dallas, the overall 1 seed and the defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights, who came in on the second wild card in the West. They're going to Game 7. That'll be tonight. Winner takes all. We'll move on to play Colorado, who dispatched of Winnipeg in 5 games. Unfortunately, my Nashville Predators, they got taken out in 6 games by the Vancouver Canucks the other night. Tight game, lost by a goal, but is what it is. Got a winner, you go home. The Edmonton Oilers needed just 5 games to take out the Los Angeles Kings, so their series will start tomorrow, I believe, against Edmonton. Then on the Eastern Conference side, you had the Florida Panthers take out the Tampa Bay Lightning in just 5 games. Tampa Bay is kind of at the end of those years of dominance that they had, where they were perennially cup challengers. And part of that is, Yzerman's not in the front office anymore. I thought he would have had things built up in Detroit by now, but that still looks like it's a few steps away. They missed the playoffs just barely this year. Boston, last night, they went to a Game 7 against Toronto, and as per typical in the playoffs, the Boston Bruins took the Toronto Maple Leafs out. Maple Leafs, last year they finally got past the first round. This year, back to their old ways, losing in the first round and still on that 60-some year cup drought in Toronto. So Boston will move on to play the Florida Panthers. And then the Rangers swept the Washington Capitals. Washington barely snuck into that last wild card spot. They actually had a negative goal differential during the year. They actually gave up 36 more goals than they scored during the regular season, yet somehow put together a good enough record to make it into the playoffs. But they were swept by the President's Cup trophy winner, the New York Rangers. And the Carolina Hurricanes only needed 5 games to take out the New York Islanders. The Hurricanes will just see the other New York team now as they play the Rangers in the second round. And actually, that game, for Game 1 of that, is currently going on right now. It was 3-1 when we started the show. I'll see if I can get an updated score here. And the Rangers did win Game 1 4-3 for the Hurricanes. So they fall 1 goal. So now the Rangers have a 1-goal lead or 1-game lead in the the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. On the minor leagues, right now we got the AHL playoffs going on. The defending champion Hershey Bears right now have a 2-game-to-none lead on Lehigh Valley in the Atlantic Division semifinal. In the other semifinal, the Providence Bruins and the Hartford Wolfpack are tied 1-1. These are 5 games, best of 5 series in the AHL. So a little bit different from the NHL where it's best of 7s. In the North, you got the Cleveland Monsters and the Belleville Senators. In the North Division semifinal, you got Rochester Americans and Syracuse Crunch now tied at 2 games apiece. My Milwaukee Admirals, they lost 4-1 last night to the Texas Stars and fall down 2-0. But the last 3 games of the series will be in Milwaukee, so hopefully home ice changes the momentum in that series. The other Central Division semifinal, you got Grand Rapids Griffins with a 2-1 lead on the Rockford Ice Dogs. In the Pacific Division, the Calgary Wranglers are up 1-0 on Coachella Valley, who won the Western Division last year. And the other Pacific Division one, you got the Ontario Reign with a 1-0 lead on the Abbotsford Canucks.
Where do the Admirals play?
Now they play in the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena.
Okay.
They used to play in Bradley Center, but that got torn down when the Bucks moved out of Pfizer. And yeah, the new owners of the Bucks didn't want hockey in the new arena that was built, so the Admirals ended up
unreal
into the Panthers arena, which actually for AHL, it's actually a pretty good stadium for an AHL game, because the problem with the old Bradley Center was it's minor league hockey, so not as many people show up as they do for a professional game. So you'd have 50 to 75% of the seats being empty, whereas at the Panther arena, it gets pretty packed in there. They're able to fill that stadium up better, and you can get some noise going during the game. And my wife's calling me right now, so I'm gonna have to cut out for a little bit. So
okay, cut up a little bit. John's back, so we'll go from there, and we'll carry on when you get back. How's that?
I was just gonna ask him a fucking question.
He gotta go take care of something for his wife. Give me a break.
Wow.
Oh, I'll ask you a question.
What?
When's the last time the captain of the New York Yankees got thrown out of a game?
Oh, it's been a few years, but actually, it happened just the other day where Aaron Judge, the captain of the Yankees, Judgy, as people like to call him. I like him. I always have a Yankee that I like. It was Derek Jeter for years. I saw his last game. Yes, there were tears shed.
Yeah, he never got thrown out.
Nope, but Judgy did. Judgy got thrown out the other day, got called out on an outside pitch, and it was outside. And old Judgy snapped. And Aaron Boone, who's I believe has got the record over, I mean, he's over the last 2 or 3 years has got thrown out more than any other manager. And there's another story behind that too as well. But they got ran. Judgy got pissed off, and you know what?
The wild part is he was not even facing the umpire. He was walking back to the dugout.
Yeah,
and he said that pitch was bullshit.
Yeah, and then boom, he ran him, which is kind of. Look, you're not really arguing balls and strikes. You're
exactly.
Just making a statement and say that was bullshit, and he ran him anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd run a guy who's what is Judgy 6'6", like 250 something. Hold on, let me look it up. Let's put in another window and see if I can crash my computer. I got like 3 baseball reference pages up right now. It's stupid. Let's see. How big is Judgy? 6'7", 282. I am not running that guy unless he does something so egregious. Now, I know Judge has got enough head about him to not level an umpire. I don't think that's ever actually happened. I mean, I've done it in my head a million times, but you never actually do it. Because I've never gotten an argument with the umpire where he hit the button.
Yeah.
Where he got personal with me. If he got personal with me, then that was going to be different. And look, I was playing semi-pro baseball. It wasn't like, I wasn't making $20 million a year or anything like that. But yeah. And then Judgy got thrown out earlier in the week. Not Judgy, Boone.
Yeah.
For not saying anything. Not saying anything. In the dugout, he was chirping at the umpire, and the umpire says, "You're done." I hear another thing, and I'm running you. So he shuts up. He's like, "Fuck. All right, fine. It is what it is." And then some fan 2 rows back starts chirping at the umpire, and the umpire just turns and runs Booney. And Booney's like, "What the fuck? I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. It wasn't me." I heard it from the dugout. Like, no, it was fucking from the fans. Like a couple rows up. What are you doing? I didn't say anything. Why are you running me? Well, I heard it from the dugout. You're responsible for the dugout. He goes, "It wasn't from the dugout. What's wrong with you?" Ran him anyways. So yeah. Oh man, not a good week for the Yanks. I guess I could dive into the standings while Pterodactyl is fulfilling his husbandly duties.
Have my Reds got back to 500?
Not as no.
Bummer.
No. So starting in the American League, the team that very, very, very much reminds me of the 2015-2016 Chicago Cubs that won the World Series in 2016 after a 108-year drought. The Baltimore Orioles are up 22-11. They got a plus 45 run differential, 7-3 in the last 10. The Yankees, though, are right there on their heels. Only a half game back. The Red Sox, very strangely, 1916, they're only 4 games back. They're pitching amazing. Even though nobody can name an actual starter. I mean, that's not true, but their starting pitching is been pretty good. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays who started out last year on that unbelievable run are 6 games back, and the Blue Jays, I think it's over. I think they're done a little bit. I think the end is near, and the retool is imminent. So Vladdy Jr. could be on the move. I don't know. Although I don't know anybody who would want him, right? His performance has been tailing off year after year after year. A biggest surprise, at least to me, in the AL Central, especially since my preseason picks, I picked the Twins to win the division. The Cleveland Guardians are kicking ass. I think a lot due to their manager. He how do I put it? Seems to have righted the ship there and getting those boys playing kind of scrappy, do everything you can to win ball. And it's working so far because they're in first place right now.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Stephen Vaught is his name. And for some reason, like, he's a big Dallas Braden guy, or Dallas Braden thinks he's a big guy. There's some connection there with the Oakland Athletics organization. I'm not sure. Holy shit! What the fuck is this? Holy fuck! This is Sports Church, Dean. Man, I know we didn't do the bar. I'm sorry. I didn't have it in me, man. But where was I going here? Sorry, I'm doing too many things and clicking too many goddamn buttons. Where are my standings? Okay, there we go. But yeah, the Guardians kicking it, formerly known as the Indians. Why? Because when they were a very, 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 very young team, they had a bunch of Native Americans on there. So they said, hey, why don't we just call ourselves the Indians? And all of a sudden that just became offensive. So they named themselves after a shitty bridge in Cleveland. Good job. The Minnesota Twins, though, hey, they broke off 9 in a row. They're coming back. They're in there. They're only 2.5 games back. They're 9-1 in the last 10. They got a plus 13 run differential. Got to improve on that. Now, here's where it gets really funny. The Kansas City Royals are above 500.
Yeah.
Their big star, who they just extended
5 games above 500.
Yeah, their big star, Bobby Witt Jr., being a big part of that after getting his extension. They're 20-15, 5-5 last 10. They got a plus 44 run differential. The Tigers still above 500, only 4 games back, but bringing up the rear. And I'm glad I didn't take this bet because, yeah. I was going to bet that the White Sox weren't going to get 10 wins before the end of May. It looks like they're probably going to do it because they run like as soon as I open up my mouth, they won 3 fucking games in a row.
5-5 in their last 10. So
yeah, exactly. Seattle Mariners and my AL Cy Young pick, George Kirby, starting to turn it around. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The Texas Rangers are right on their heels, though. The 2023 World Series champions. What a World Series that was. I told you
they
awesome.
get better as soon as they got a new trash can.
Yeah, no, hold on. That's the Houston Astros. But anyways, the biggest surprise here in ALS is the Oakland Athletics, soon to be the Sacramento Athletics, then soon to be the Las Vegas Athletics. What a fucking joke that is. Jesus.
Why the hell are they moving them before they move them?
Because I think it's something to do with the lease, and it has something to do with the fact that they haven't even broken ground on their new stadium. So they're going to basically what is a AAA field.
Yeah.
And they're going to play their games there. If you're in the Oakland area, though, you can get for $99 45 game pass. So if you want to go see some baseball and you got $100, I mean, if I was you, I'd pull the trigger on that and just spend my whole time, trying.
Yeah, but you're gonna hire a bodyguard to get you in and out of the stadium.
Well, only at night.
When they play their games.
They play some day games, though. They play a lot of day games on the weekend.
I just can't believe how that city's gone down. That's unreal.
Well, it sits next to another city that's gone to shit. So there you go. The shocker, the real shocker in the American League West, the Houston Astros. Although they are a little bit beat up. Yes, some of their guys are not performing. Some of them are. Like Jose Altuve is doing it, but Alex Bregman is just kind of starting to get around. I think he hit his first home run just the other day. But they're 12-22, man. They just got Justin Verlander back. They're gonna get Framer Valdez back if he's not back already. That's gonna help tremendously. But man, they're 7 games back. That's a hell of a hole today. And when you're tied with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who no longer have Shohei Ohtani, and right now don't have Mike Trout. Yeah. Mike Trout hurt again. And here's a little side note. Our favorite racist showed up again. Stephen A. Smith talking shit about Mike Trout because Stephen A. Smith is such a baseball expert. He's really only an expert at saying stupid shit, and ESPN refuses to fire him because he's fucking black. That's really the only reason. But he just says outrageous shit. He was dumping on Mike Trout because he's constantly unavailable, which has been the last 3 years he's been hurt. He'll be back. It's not going to be gone that long. His season's not over. At least I don't think it is. And Jonathan Papelbon, former Boston Red Sox closer, World Series champion, if I remember correctly. Maybe did he win one with the Red Sox? Shit, I should know that, but I don't. Called him a racist. I was like, yes, finally, somebody said it, and somebody said it publicly to him because that's what he is. He's a piece of shit. Stephen A. Smith is one of the most horrible people in sports by far. Can't think of anybody worse, really, and especially to dump on what was. There's no reason Mike Trout can't write the shit, but I don't think you're ever going to see the Mike Trout the back in the days, but. That was an insane player, and if he's still an average player to whatever, can't be dumping on a guy just because he gets hurt. I mean, dude, stuff breaks down, bro. I mean, what are you gonna do? To the National League East, Philly is 23-11 plus 39 run differential. They got a 1.5 game lead over Atlanta Braves. There's a little bit of surprise, although Atlanta did lose Spencer Strider earlier in the year to UCL, which is Tommy John, so he's gonna be gone until sometime midsummer next year, which sucks because he was looking amazing in spring training. The rest of the division is just kind of, the Nationals are in third place and they're 500. The Mets are 7 games back. Marlins 14.5 games back. So it's a battle to see who's the worst team in Major League Baseball right now between the Rockies, the Marlins, and the White Sox. But and Miami Marlins and trading news, and I might talk a little bit about that here in a minute. I don't know. They traded one of their studs, Luis Reyes, to the San Diego Padres, who has immediately made an impact. Everybody's calling that a win-win for the Padres. So the Padres, for some reason, are still trying to win, even though they're big boppers who are supposed to be doing the winning and aren't doing it. Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado. Those guys aren't getting it done, and those guys are collectively signed to 30 years at this point, and a lot of money, and they're not. The Padres are getting their money's worth for sure. And we tune our eyes to the AL Central. The Milwaukee Brewers and my Chicago Cubs played a series this weekend. First matchup between the two clubs. That's their longtime. Craig Counsell, manager of the Brewers, 9 years, I think, got the largest manager contract offer in history to move to the Cubs. The Brewers won the first one. Cubs won the next 2. So they are currently tied atop of the standings, 5-5 in their last 10. The Reds hanging in there. It's their pitching, man. I told you it's always going to be their pitching. They're 16, 17, 4 games back, a 14-run differential. Pirates, lower the flag, lower the Pirates flag, lower the Jolly Roger. It is not last year. In fact, it's worse, and it's probably only going to get worse. My only hope is my boy O'Neal Cruz, who I picked for comeback player of the year in the NL, does so right now. He's kind of turning on, but a 234 batting average. He's got a minus 0.3 WAR, which is not good. His on base percentage is 286, 355 for an OPS of 641. That's not going to get done, dude. He did hit bomb the other night, so maybe he's turning it on a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, and my favorite part about the NL Central is that the St. Louis Cardinals are in last place yet again. After getting like three pitchers who all were shit-ish. They're 15-19 and minus 32 run differential. They're 5 in their last 10, lost their last 2 though. And to the NL West, we've got the Dodgers. You know, go figure. Weird. With all the money they pumped into that franchise. 22-13, got a plus 59 run differential, 8-2 in their last 10. They're 4 games up on the Padres, 6.5 on the Giants. The National League representatives for the World Series last year, the NLCS champs, Arizona Diamondbacks, not doing welly at all. They're 7.5 games back. They're fucking 6 games under 500, and a couple of Rockies. Whoo! Why do we even have a baseball team? They're 8.
Well, I mean, their hitting coach is a pilot.
Oh, okay.
No,
well,
he's not really. But did you hear that?
Probably
story
higher than a. Oh God! No, I didn't hear the story. Tell me.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Their hitting coach got in trouble because during the team flight, during one of their team flights, this was probably about 2 weeks ago. The hitting coach went into the cockpit of the plane, and as if Boeing doesn't have enough headaches right now he has got
allegedly
random coaches. You got random coaches showing up on the team flight. So yeah, it was a whole thing. I think like the FAA or whatever was all involved in it.
Oh,
they had to put out an apology for they let this guy in during the flight.
Wow, good job, boys.
How did they know he got into the cockpit?
I can't remember if it was like Instagram pictures or some bullshit.
Yeah, I was about to say somebody made a social media post. That's what it was. I guarantee you.
He was photographed in there during the flight.
Jeez. Back to a little bit of Cubs. You know, Yamamoto, the big, of course, the Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani, who's going to go down as probably the greatest baseball player of all time. Because he kind of is. And, but they signed Yamamoto, big deal. And Shota Imagaga signed by the Cubs on a 2-year deal with, I think, 3 club options after that, 26, 27, and 28. But he has been lighting it up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you how much this fucking guy, and let me show you a little goofy picture of him, and I'll play a little video of him too. Shota, here's his ERA. Anyone want to guess? Just guess. Just give me a number. Throw out a number. Somebody.
2.35.
Shota Imagaga's 0.78 ERA is the lowest through the first 6 starts for any pitcher in history since Fernando Valenzuela, who had a 0.33. No one else has come close since baseball integration. He is the highest chase rate in the league, the 4th lowest walk rate, top 25 lowest barrel rate, four-seam fastball, which is probably one of the most popular pitches in baseball, right? Gotta be four-seam, two-seam.
I thought he wasn't allowed to pitch this year, though.
Who? No, that's Shohei Ohtani. I'm talking about Shota and Magaga.
Oh, okay.
But what's the last thing on my notes? Guess what people are hitting off his four-seam fastball? No, this guy came. Hold on for a second. This guy came over here, and people were saying, all right, even though he won this, basically the Cy Young 3 years in a row in Japan, he's going to get lit up over here because he's got a high fly ball rate, and he's got this, and he's got that. And I just explained some of the things that, that's not really working out for people because he's not walking anybody. He's got the highest chase rate, which means guys are swinging at balls out of the zone, which is a good way to strike out a lot of people. And he guesses. So go ahead and guess what the MLB is batting against his four-seamer. Guess what the batting average is. Throw a number out, boys.
Pretty bad. So 0.127.
The batting average against Imagaga's four-seamer is 137.
I was within a tenth of a point, so that was a pretty good guess.
The pitch that was going to kill him has not. I watched him against the Mets the other day. The game ended in a very controversial call, allegedly. There was alleged blocking, which is bullshit. I kind of screaming at my boys over at Baseball is Dead podcast. Would love. Shout out to Baseball is Dead. Get over to their Twitter. Get over and listen to their podcasts if you're just a baseball nut, because they do an amazing job. Jared Carabas, Dallas, and Justin Havens, and sometimes Joey. Get over their Twitter pages. I think Twitter is Jay Hay, Dallas Braden is a 209 mayor, and Jared Carabas is just Jared Carabas. But they're a hilarious group. And yeah, they I just lost my train of thought. All right, boys.
Yeah, it's all good.
It happened.
We were talking about Baseball is Dead pod.
Yeah, and they mentioned something about Shota, and I can't remember what it was now, and it's not on my notes, so we'll just move on because squirrel. Another neat thing though is the one homer that Shota's given up this year. I don't have the video because I didn't spend enough time preparing slides and writing out the courtesy of. But he gave a homer up to Tyler O'Neill. It was pretty funny. He gave it up and he turned and watched it. And then he kind of looked back at his catcher and went,
Things happen in baseball.
shit. He's got a whole book on it. They call him the philosopher. He's got a whole book on it, on pitching. And he is just tearing up the league. It's a small sample size. It's only been, like 5 or 6 starts. But, yeah, he's got a 1.7 WAR, 5-0. He's started 6 games. Of course, I guess he didn't win 34.2 innings pitched, 35 strikeouts, and a whip of 0.750. So every inning he gives up less than 1 walk or hit per inning pitched. That's nasty. And he doesn't throw ridiculously fast. He does not throw very hard. But he throws a fastball, he throws a cutter, he does have a slider, changeup, curveball, but it's mostly fastball and a split finger that he throws a lot, and it is a devastating split finger. But one of the things I want to show you guys is just, I showed you guys that when he signed with the Cubs, he did that, hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today. So you memorize that in English to do that, right? So I don't know who. It's off from Pitchin' Ninja Instagram. They obviously ripped it from some TV. I'm guessing MLB TV. But they asked him, what has been the most surprising thing about life in America? The other surprising thing was like, they asked him before, what did you think about your first time, pitching in America in New York City? And he's like, well, my hotel is the same one that Spider-Man was at. It's like, and then they ask him this: what has been maybe the most surprising thing about life in America?
Has been the maybe most surprising thing about life in America off the field in your short time here in the USA?
This is fucking great, guys.
赤信号でも右折していいところがあるっていうのがびっくりしました。
I think the biggest surprise for me has been that even on a red light, that I could take it right.
Isn't that fucking hilarious?
Well,
That's what he comes up with.
You can imagine him in a car with a bunch of his buddies, and he's at a red light, and he needs to turn right, and they're telling him to turn right, and he's wondering,
like,
are they fucking with me or what?
Yeah. But he did it. He did, and I'm absolutely in love with the dude. He's absolutely just shredding it. I got to watch the whole game against the Mets, which I believe the Cubs won correctly, 1-0 on a oh, that's where it was. My lost thought was a controversial play at home. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, who's rumored to be going to be traded this year by the Mets, if they don't stay even remotely competitive, which they told Max Scherzer last year they weren't going to try and be competitive. So he might get dealt, and I would love for him to be a Cub. I just don't want him to, pay too much for him. Not in money. I don't care about money because that's not my money. But in like prospects and stuff like that,
Yeah,
I don't give too much for him. But it'd be great to have a bat like that guy, because right now the only guy we have like that is Patrick Wisdom, and I hate talking shitty about baseball players because I know how fucking hard it is, but he's not the guy. We need a big bopper, solid big bopper, and he would be it for sure. Rhys Hoskins was rumored to be our favorite, but that never happened. He went to the fucking Brewers. Yeah, suck it, Milwaukee. We took 2 out of 3. Anyways, yeah, what else was I going to talk about in baseball?
Go
ahead.
Remember how we were talking all about Joey Votto? He needs to get where the team is going to win. Then he gets traded to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And it's gone so poorly now that he's been knocked down to the minors.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it's just a shame because the guy has got such great talent, but his body is falling apart apparently.
Well, I don't remember who.
You get old.
I don't know who said it. I can't remember who said it. It actually might have been Joey Votto, who said, you can stay in the league as long as you can hit the fastball.
Yeah.
And if Joey's not hitting the fastball, then Joey needs to get out, and Joey needs to go coach and go be a hitting coach, and then possibly a manager. It's a little weird to be a manager. He's a little goofy, but it could work. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the Cubs won the World Series with what's his name?
Joe Madden.
Joe Madden was just absolutely out of his fucking mind, and just got guys to play crazy and out of their minds because he was out of their minds. He was a terrible X and O's guy. He made Dusty Baker look like a fucking solid X's and O's guys. That's how fucking lunatic Joe Madden was.
Pretty far out there.
Yeah. And I hated Dusty for a long time after, 2002, 2003 Cubs run. I hate him because I'm 100% behind the fact that he ended. He put Kerry Wood on the way out, and he absolutely ended Mark Pryor's career. Like, he just burnt that arm out just way too much. But anyways, another thing to talk about, how I love to talk about my favorite podcast, Baseball is Dead, and Justin Havens, the J Hay Kid at Twitter. Just search Justin Havens or J Hay Kid at J Hay Kid. He's got this wonderful institute called the Baines Meter Institute, who Harold Baines got into the Hall of Fame somehow. Probably because Jerry Reindorf knows where a lot of bodies are buried.
Yeah.
And so he created this thing called the Baines Institute, where if you cross the 38 37.8 mark, which is what was Baines's career WAR, wins above replacement. He's going to mention you, and there's a guy coming up pretty soon, Justin Turner. Justin Turner, longtime Red Sox, played for the Dodgers, now with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's having a pretty decent year, to be honest. If I can get this freaking ad to go away. Thank you, Baseball Reference. Stop seeing this ad. Yeah, ad covered. Thank you. Trying to show that again. Let me refresh the page and see if it'll just knock it out. There we go. So 22, he's got a career WAR of 37.5. So he's almost there. He's 1.3 WAR away. And this year, not bad. He's got 30 hits, 4 home runs, a 294 batting average, 16 RBIs. He hasn't stolen a base. His on-base percentage is 368. His slugging is 490 for an OPS. That's pretty respectable of 858 and OPS plus of 148. So he's having a pretty good year so far. We'll see if he hits the Baines minor. If he does, they will tell us, and I will tell you guys because I think that shit's pretty fucking hilarious. Anything else in baseball that I got? I don't think. Oh, yeah, I do have some stuff real quick. Already can't talk enough about trades already. So a couple people to look out for that might be moved. Jalen Beeks is a left-handed pitcher out of Colorado. Colorado's probably going to move some people because they're just fucking horrible. Number 2, Paul Blackburn, a right-handed pitcher from the Oakland Athletics, who's having a pretty decent year. Throws pretty hard, and he's been getting it going. Eric Fred from the right-handed pitcher from the Chicago White Sox. Austin Gomer, again, left-handed pitcher from Colorado Rockies. You'll see this. Eloy Jimenez, almost certainly gone. He's an outfielder DH for the Chicago White Sox. Michael Kopech, right-handed pitcher for Chicago White Sox. Yeah, his ERA, not that great, but he does throw really hard, and he generates like 30% of the time when people when he throws, they whiff. He does strike out 34.8% of the guys he faces. So if you teach the boys some control, he might be there. This is the guy definitely to look for. If you haven't seen it, and if I can find it quick enough as I'm talking about him, he is appointment watching television. He goes by the name of Mason Miller, and this dude is hilarious. He throws so hard and has embarrassed some of the best fucking hitters in baseball already. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble for this, but that's all right.
When do we not get in trouble?
I know. This is courtesy of somebody. Let's just go Ricky Blog and courtesy of Embassy Sports California.
There you go.
This is Mason Miller. This dude is just stupid. Now, I wanted to find the Juan Soto one because Juan Soto is just a god, and another guy. I hope the Yankees sign him to a deal because he just feels like a fucking Yankee. He's kind of a villain. He's got kind of that Yankee attitude, that swagger and everything like that. But yeah, Mason Miller, 104 miles an hour. 104 miles an hour, guys. Check this shit out.
I heard about this guy.
The 9th inning. And the first pitch is a slider at ace. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. And the 2-strike offer. Swing and a miss. A power slider down and away.
3 sliders.
3 straight breakers get Simeon, and that is out number 1.
Now, Marcus Simeon is one of the best hitters in the world.
Fastball inside turns
102
and delivers. Fastball outside corner. He's dotting it up. The 1-2 offer. Swing and a miss. Got him at 102. That pitch just exploded as it cut in.
Dude, you have no
on
chance.
Seager.
Cody Seager.
Bernays on top of the line at third base. Here's the 1-0. And the wind, the righty's 1-1. Swing and a miss.
Slider at 90
is untouchable. And now winds and delivers. Line past first base. It is a foul ball. Two strike. He turns, offers, slider popped up. Should end it. Right side of the
hung
infield.
that baby, but
I don't think the human arm is meant to be able to do that.
Oh, it's not.
You wonder why these guys end up having to get Tommy John surgery.
Oh, it's not. It's not. We talked about it. It was last week or the week before, where your UCL doesn't mature until you're 26 years old, and you got kids in travel ball 16, 17 throwing 90.
Yeah.
And throwing mad spin. And not good, but definitely Mason Miller probably be on the move. I mean, why wouldn't you move him? I mean, your owner's a fucking asshole. And there's going to be teams that need a closer, one of them being the Cubs, because our closer just, I don't know. That's probably the Cubs' biggest weakness right now, honestly, is their bullpen, and because our closer just fell apart, and now we're trying to find our next closer or get him back. So Mason Miller is definitely going to be on that list of tradable material and teams looking for a shutdown closer. Martin Perez of the Pirates keep struggling, left-handed pitcher. He's up there. Luis Regnafino, Los Angeles Angels, second baseman. I don't know about that. I don't know how many people just dying for a second baseman, but we'll see. He does have a 139 OPS plus, which is not pretty fucking crazy. And last guy probably talk about is Ross Stripling, right-handed pitcher again from the Oakland Athletics. Because why wouldn't they fire sale that team? Because there's not much of a team there, anyways. So yeah, and I think
I seen Josh Hader's numbers look really bad since he's.
Oh my God, are they bad? You're not even kidding.
Yeah, he's been. I guess the Brewers knew what they were doing when they traded him away to San Diego, because he has been on nothing. He's been on nothing but the decline since he's left Milwaukee.
Yeah.
What is it?
This
10,
year he's
10 runs in 15 innings, something like that he's given up.
He's got a negative 0.3 WAR. He's got 1 win, 2 losses, a 5.93 ERA. So he's dropped it the last time I checked. 14 games, 3 saves, 13.2 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts. He's got a 1.463 WHIP, which is not good when you're a closer. So, his career numbers are still amazing. I wonder what's going on. Generally, when shit like that happens, I automatically go to he's hurt.
Could be.
Or something's, bothering him. His shoulder could be. It could be. I don't know. It could be.
He never really panned out in San Diego like they wanted him to either. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's true. I don't know. I mean, the Astros suck all the way around. I mean, the guy's only in his age 30 season. He won't be 31 until next year. I don't, unless he's hurt, I think he'll turn it around. But they haven't locked up until 2029, the next 5 years. So
yeah,
they've got to kind of stick with it. So that is what it is. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, Hader's kind of not looking good at all.
The entire Houston team's not looking very good at all. But
yeah,
him in particular sticks out, which I don't think anybody's got any. Nobody's crying any tears for the Astros.
No,
for the last few years.
Nobody is.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
They can go back to being that shitty team that used to be in the NL Central.
I'm looking forward to this week. Just catching some more Cubs games. Thanks to Brother Bishop Pook Dog sending me a secret squirrel link. I can watch my Cubbies most of the time. If I can't watch the Cubs or they're not on, I watch the Reds. Because that's the team I actually really, because I've lived here so long, I'm kind of sort of have to root for a little bit, because so much of my family, my wife's family, is invested in the Reds, and I don't like to see them get disappointed, but it's kind of what the Reds have done since 1990 when they won the World Series against the Oakland Athletics. I think that was. So yeah, still root for them. Love watching my Cubbies. They great today. Beat up on the Brew Crew. It was funny. My fantasy baseball. I have Freddie Peralta, who's starting pitcher for the Brewers, and I sat him today because I was like, I think the Cubs are gonna rip them apart, and they did for 5 runs. I'm like, whoo! Dodge that bullet. Dodge that bullet.
The Brewers are doing better than I thought they'd be doing this year because they really don't have pitching anymore. They got their hitting's doing all right, but yeah, they let Corbin Burns
trade
go.
Trade away Corbin.
They let Corbin Burns to the Orioles, and then Woodruff's out for the year with that whatever surgery he has to get, and
on his shoulder.
Then their closer broke his back right before the season. And so
that helps.
It's like I kind of figured they'd be a 500 team, and they're sitting up there at the top of the division with the Cubs right now. So they're doing better than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, they're playing on the minds. Very young, really fast. The Brewers are a really fast team. I watched. I watched all of Friday's. No, I watched the highlights from Friday. I watched all of Saturday's game. Watched all of Sunday's game. And one thing I did notice is the team's young and it's fast. It's a real fast team.
Well, and from what I've heard on the radio around here is they got 3 really good pitchers that are coming up through the minors right now. So if those guys pan out, maybe next year they'll be a good team. I don't think they're a serious contender this year, but next year I think they're gonna.
I don't know. It's the NL Central is kind of wide open. Nobody expected the Brewers to be doing this well. I am deeply concerned about the Cubs bullpen. I know we're getting Cody Bellinger back. We're getting Seiya Suzuki back. And we get those guys in and they're hitting like Cody did last year. Like we're paying him $25 fucking million this year to hit. I think we'll be all right. Something's got to be done about Kyle Hendricks, the professor. We have the philosopher and Shota Imagaga, but we have the professor and Kyle Hendricks, and he has been fucking terrible this year. And the problem with him is he doesn't throw hard at all. And so his margin of error with control is very minimal. So if he's not putting the ball where it needs to be, where he wants it to be, he's going to get fucking smoked. And he has been getting smoked this year. So that's a fucking problem. But the bullpen is scary because Azalea was supposed to be our man. He was our man last year as a closer, and he isn't. Now we picked up Hector Neris, who's a stud reliever, but where do you shake it down now? Who's the high leverage guys? Who's the low leverage guys? And that's scary as fuck to me. And will the Cubs move for a guy like Mason Miller to solidify that bullpen down? Because if you can get a guy that say maybe take Albert back down to the 3 spot, you put Neris in number 2, and you let Mason Miller close. Man, the Cubs are scary. If you solidify that bullpen, they're scary. I mean, that's a really good team. And Ian Happ would start to fucking. Nico Horner's been going off. He's turning around. He started out shit for the year, but now he's hitting. Ian Happ's still struggling, but still playing great D for the most part. Dansby Swanson's starting to hit again, but strange enough, I think he's had 5 errors already this year. He had 4 last year, I think. So that's a little disturbing. Right. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a long. We're just a month into baseball. We're just a month into baseball. I'm already panicking like I did last week about some of my picks and whatnot, but some of them are turning around. And Shota Imagaga is definitely making me look like a genius because I picked him for Rookie of the Year, and he's definitely cruising that way. O'Neal Cruz is picking it up. George Kirby, who I picked for AL Cy Young, is picking it up. I don't even remember who I picked for NL Cy Young. I really hope it wasn't Spencer Strider because that'd be bad. But other than that.
Oh, dang it. I don't got the notebook downstairs with me. I wrote all that stuff down when you made those picks, but
I could look it up here in a minute. I guess I could just give me a second and I'll find it. Let's see who I picked for NL Cy Young. It's just, I swear to God, I'm going to be so mad. Oh, no. What the hell? Why is this not
You know what was kind of fun about that first game of the Brewers Cubs this week too is the Brewers manager was on a suspension from the previous series. He got tossed from the game, so you had Craig Counsell managing against Ricky Weeks. And they played together for years with the Brewers. So he had the former teammates.
Yeah.
So that was a fun dynamic to that. That was the first. I think that was the first time that Ricky Weeks actually managed a big league club.
Right.
So, and he was one of the names that was rumored about taking over as the managers of the Brewers after Counsell had left. They ended up going with Murphy, which was his right-hand man in Milwaukee. And a lot of that, I think, well, at least on the radio here, was mainly just the Brewers signing him so he couldn't go to Chicago with Craig.
Right. All right. So my NL Cy Young pick was Logan Webb. So far, 1.2 WAR, 3 wins, 2 losses, 2.98 ERA, 42.1 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.299, which is a little thing. I'm also working on figuring out Fangraphs, StatCast, so I can do a little bit more better analysis and nug dropping for you guys. Because basically, most of the nugs I dropped on you were from Justin Havens. And so please go give that guy some love on Twitter at JHeyKid. Because sorry to aggregate, but that's my baseball podcast, and that's what I use to get a lot of my information out. Other than that, who else? Is there any other? Let me look here. See it real quick here. This is all right. I picked Corbin Carroll, National League MVP. How's Corbin Carroll doing? Do I want to look? I don't think I want to look.
I don't know.
Dude needs to stop shaking his ass and actually hit fucking bombs. Yeah, it's not good, boys. He's got a 194 batting average, 291 OPS, 242 slug for an OPS of 533.
Well, you're not supposed to let him know you picked him.
Well,
194. He might end up back in AAA here soon.
I didn't send him an email, so I don't know. I mean, let's just for shits and giggles.
He's hitting in Joey Votto territory.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's check on some of my other picks real quick. Bobby Witt Jr. I picked for AL MVP, and hey, look. 2.4 WAR. He's got a 313 batting average, 4 home runs, 42 hits, 19 RBIs. He's got a 367 on base percentage, a 530 slug for an OPS of 897, OPS plus of 153. So that's working out. All right, that's not too bad. Kirby. Oh, do I have to? I have to do this every week now. It's just gonna be what it is. George Kirby. Thank you, Baseball Reference. So yeah, he's got a 3.76 ERA. He's won 3 games, lost 2, 38.1 innings pitched, striked out 41. He's got a WHIP of 1.043. So that's not, and that is a lot of early trouble. And I think he's come back from that. However, I think this is where I'm gonna get murdered. Is my AL Rookie of the Year, Wyatt Langford. 116 at bats. He's got 26 hits, 1 home run. Is it inside the Parker off of weird carom? He's batting 224. He's got 11 RBIs, 1 stolen base, 295 on base percentage, 293 slug for an OPS of 588. That one might not pan out. But Anthony Rizzo, he's been on a hot streak lately for sure. I think he had 3 dingers the other night, didn't he? In a game for the Yankees. And it's starting to come around. Batting average 263, 20 RBIs, 329 on base percentage, 429 slug for 757 OPS. So that's going up there. That's good. Who else did I got up there? I just went to the winners. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that. I can drop that at that point. But all right, that's all I got, boys. Unless you got anything else about your particular thing, I think we can call it a night. What?
Stuart Haas Racing is rumored to be selling 2 of their franchises.
Why?
So Stuart Haas Racing is probably going to drop from 4 Cup teams and 2 Xfinity teams to just 2 Xfinity teams and 2 Cup teams. Now, the reason this is important is that they're not winning like Stuart Haas likes to win.
That's
And I think money is getting tight. And with the rumored $50 million for a charter, picking up $100 million probably gets them some money to go ahead and try and win again.
There you go. Sell off some of your assets and restart.
Yep.
All right.
Although I would hate to be playing for Stuart Haas right now and realizing that, well, my job's going to end at the end of the season because they're going to sell my team.
Yeah. And that is such a small market. Finding a job is, unless you're well established and networked, it's got to be a little scary. I get it. Totally get it. Anything else, T? You got before we do final thoughts?
No, actually, yeah, it's probably a good time to close things out. My wife was working 12 hours today, and she's just getting home. So,
oh boy, you better get off.
Yeah, saving up that money. We're heading back to the Philippines in August for the anniversary of her mom's death. So,
how long are you gonna be over there?
Like 2 fucking weeks, right?
3. Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, you can get on the internet there, can't you?
Yeah, the times are way different though, so
that's like, okay. Get up in the middle of the morning. What the hell are you worried about?
Yeah, dude. Come on, team player.
Yeah, we'll be there from August 16th through September 7th.
Jesus Christ, I don't be anywhere for that long, but
I like going there though. But yeah, it does get to be a little bit much having that much time off of work in a row. Sometimes I get
that's all your time off of work, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have any other vacation for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's it. That you're done. You're toast. Yeah,
yep,
no,
so,
for sure. All right, man. Final thoughts. Go for it.
Thanks for stopping and hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, we're kind of in our rebuild right now, but things are getting more steady. So share us out and help us build that new audience up, I guess.
Absolutely. Remember, never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There's plenty of resources out there. I've been there, done that, got the members only jacket, bumper sticker, all that shit. And I even got a Dr. McHottie as my therapist now, which is awesome. And she's very concerned about me, which I love.
I can't understand why.
No, because she's Dr. McHottie. But yeah, just remember, there's plenty of resources out there. I know the hardest thing to do is actually to go reach out, but once you do it, once you pull that trigger, it'll be the last one you ever do because you'll get the help you need. You'll talk to the people. You'll get back to the community. And I think that's one of the things that's most important with us is that we just connect with our community. You self-isolate because you don't know anybody else really that feels the same way you do or been through the same experiences that you have. One of the great parts and there are great parts of social media is that we can find each other and connect with each other and talk with each other. And so we'll reach out to groups and join groups and talk shit and share memes and, hey, don't wait till it's a crisis to reach out either. Just say, hey, I'm fucking at the worst day and I want to throat punch my boss. Anybody up to talk? People are going to jump on that shit for sure. So please do that. Without further ado, I'll give it to Pops, and then I'm going to talk to these guys for just 2 seconds afterwards, and then we're good to go. I just got to line up my other shit. What do you got, Pops?
Very little. It's just along the same lines what you're doing there. What goes on in life today is crazy at times, and you got to really wonder what the hell. I just found out that my son is going to vote for a Democrat wannabe rather than vote for. But anyway,
who told you that?
You did last night on the show, or no, one Friday night on the show.
I didn't do a show Friday night.
Yeah, we didn't do a show Friday.
So my wife narked to you then.
No, I heard it. I heard it on the show. Maybe it was a week ago. I don't know.
Maybe it was last week. Yeah.
Wait a minute, you didn't do a show last night or Friday night?
No, I didn't do the bar Friday.
Okay, well, it was probably on the show from the week before because that was the last one I clicked on.
Two things happened. Blue was supposed to come into town, then she wasn't, and T wanted to watch the fights, and I was just fucking tired.
My brother was going to come over to watch the one fight, so I was like, yeah, if you want to take the night off, I'm good with that.
The week
but
old
yeah, I'm fine.
Because it was just you two. It was just the two of you there.
Yeah, it must have been last week's show.
Yeah, but that's okay. Anyway, to be honest with you, I don't know who the hell I'm going to vote for.
Well, I know you're not going to vote for Biden, so
I don't want Trump in there simply because he's going to do something stupid. And
no.
But see, that's the problem. I like so many of his policies. I just don't like him doing them.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
He just offends so many people. And
which is kind of one of the reasons I like him.
I just look at life was a lot better when life was a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, yes, true. I don't want to delve into the whole thing, but
that's why so many people are committing suicide because they don't know what to do about Trump. But anyway,
right.
Talk to somebody. If you're down and out, talk to somebody. Most of the problem is that you got no one to talk with, and you keep bouncing shit around your head, and that's gonna fuck you up. So take the time to talk to somebody, and you might be able to find a way out.
Absolutely. Without further ado, boys, have a good night. I'm going to keep you for a second after we get done, but just a few seconds.
All right.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.